Hello everyone, my name is Yusuf Edwards and welcome to a very special part 55 of the American show. Let us begin. So Joey was waking up from a wonderful sleep. She was heavily excited for the date and the basketball game later on that night. She gets up and she gets out of the bed. She leaves her bedroom, goes to the bathroom, undresses, then she takes the shower. She is quite excited about the date that she was going to be going on that night, after the basketball game, of course. She then gets out of the shower after washing everything off from the night before, obviously, and she gets out of the shower. She grabs a towel, she dries off. After that, she leaves the bathroom, goes back to the bedroom, and she gets dressed in her bedroom. After that, she goes to the living room to watch TV. After she goes in the living room, she sits down, watches TV, or begins watching TV. Her sister arrives for the second morning to cook breakfast for the family. After that, breakfast is now served, and she is ready to eat breakfast. Joey is. So she sits down at the breakfast table alongside her sister. Her mom was their mom was still sleeping by that point. And that's when Beatrice takes it upon herself to go to the bedroom where her mom is sleeping and wake her up for breakfast. So she leaves the kitchen whilst, of course, Joey is eating breakfast or beginning to eat breakfast, having a wonderful time. Still very much looking forward to the date and the basketball game. After she eats her breakfast, she leaves the kitchen and the breakfast table. She goes to the door, grabs her jacket, puts it on, and she's gone. She gets in her car. She buckles up her seatbelt, and after that, she is gone. She pulls up, or she's beginning to drive her way to the Alpha Crane studio for work. She makes it to the studio. She pulls up. She unbuckles her seatbelt, and shortly thereafter, her date shows up for work as well. Willie shows up for work as well, or William shows up for work as well. He says hi to her. He is very much looking forward to the date as well, as they both are. They walk in together and they go to their separate dressing rooms. After that, she leaves the dressing room to begin rehearsing with William and the rest of the crew so they can get ready for the American show episode. She leaves the dressing room and they begin rehearsing. After that, she goes back to the dressing room to prepare herself a bit further for the show. After that, she leaves her dressing room once again and they begin the show in earnest. She welcomes the first guest, which was a basketball player who was going to be playing at the game that they were going to. After that, they welcomed the second guest, which was, of course, Tracy Mack, the brother of the late great Robert Mack. He has a new album out. He was promoting that. And also, he was also going to be singing the national anthem at the basketball game himself. And after they were talking some more, and they were having a wonderful time, it was now time for the show to end. He leaves the show, Tracy leaves the show, and that's how the show ends. They wave goodbye to the audience, and the credits rolling after they sing the ending, after they sing the outro song. After that, the audience leaves to go to the basketball game, and after they leave, as always, they leave as well. They get in their respective cars, Joey and William. They get inside their respective cars, and together they drove to the basketball game. It was packed. After that, they take their seats next to each other, and they are watching the game. After that, it was time for the date. They leave the game a little bit late. The game was over by that point, after a couple minutes of them watching the game and heavily enjoying it. It was now time for them to go on their date. He decides that it would be more easier to take, of course, to let Joey drive them both to the date, because it would be more easier for Joey to do that, because they needed someone to drive to, obviously, and so they needed they needed to take a car. It would be more easier, and also she did ask him out first, so it would make a lot more sense to him at the time that she got to drive the car, and they make it to the they make it to the date, and they sit down at their table, and everything is beginning to be going well. They're talking, hitting it off ever since just like the first day that they met each other. They're having a wonderful time, and they are having a wonderful time. She's laughing at his jokes. He's laughing at her jokes. They're both genuinely funny people, and they are having a wonderful time together. After that, they get their wine, and she pours it for him. She pours his wine. He pours hers. After that, they begin drinking and having a wonderful time together. After that, they begin eating dinner together. After the date, he decides to ask for a cab because they're both a little bit drunk, and he did not want to drive, and she did not want to drive either. And so they decide to take a cab. Well, he decides to take a cab, and she decides to go with him as well. So they get in the cab, and they buckle up the seatbelts, and they're just having a wonderful time together, just drunkenly talking about their lives and how they should meet each other's families. After that, she gets dropped off first. He gets dropped off. Actually, it was the other way around. He gets dropped off first, and she was beginning to be dropped off second. After he leaves her, she gets out of the car and she kisses him on the cheek. She sees him off, and he goes into his apartment, and he gets back in, she gets back in the cab. She gets back in the cab. She, of course, obviously, goes home. She tells the cab driver where she lives, which was her sister's house, obviously, and he drops her off. He drops her off. The cab driver does, and she opens up the cab door, and after that, she walks in front of the door. She knocks on the door after she waits for a while. Beatrice opens up the door and gives her a big hug. And they sit down after that, and they just begin to talk about the date and the basketball game. How it was awesome, and how it was a great game, but the date was even better. How he's a great man and a great host, a second host. And she apologizes about not telling the bosses about her sister. She does not really mind, or at least it seems that way. Anyway, she's continuing to talk about the date and how awesome it was. She is a little bit drunk and a little bit tired. So after that, she gets up from the couch. She leaves the living room, goes back to her bedroom, and she is dreaming. Well, she's not asleep yet. She goes to her bedroom, and she just lays down on the floor and just thinks about how the date was and how the second date is going to be even better than the first. All of a sudden, she hears the phone ring. She leaves the bedroom and she goes to the phone room, and she picks up the phone, and it's him saying how awesome the date was and how wonderful she was and is. And thank you for asking me out on a date. It was awesome. Ever since my wife died years ago, I never really felt like, she said, I never really found love before you, and I really appreciate that. After that, she was crying. he was crying too. And after that, they say goodbye to each other on the phone. She hangs up the phone, and she leaves the room. After she leaves the room, she walks into her bedroom once again, and she starts to think about him. After that, she goes to her bedroom. Well, I always said that. She goes to her bed. She crawls in her bed. She crawls on the bed, rather. She turns off the lights. She gets under the covers, and she goes right back to, she goes to sleep. And that was it. To be continued. Surprise! I hope you enjoyed this video. The surprise video. And if you did, leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you wonderful people next time. Bye bye for now.